And let's go to Durban now, and Dasen Tata is joining us now live from Mahatma Gandhi Road, formerly known as Point Road. Dasen, good morning again. Earlier, when we crossed to you just over an hour ago, so Dasen, you had just come across a stabbing incident in the streets of Durban there in Mahatma Gandhi Road, and a man had just been attacked. And unfortunately, while you tried to get help as soon as you could from the paramedics, they didn't get there in time to save his life.
That's right, Dan. Really a tragic start to this day. You'll see that the crime scene is still there, cordoned off behind me. We understand that he was attacked by a group of men and he was walking down the street at the time. As to exactly where those men are now, that's what police are trying to find out. They are trying to interview witnesses that are around here. You know, it was a really, really sad scene that we saw. When we got here, he was still alive and gasping for breath at that time, and within just a few minutes he passed away because of the nature of his injuries. And Dan, that really speaks to the level of danger that exists on these streets, and it just underscores what many of the homeless people that are here had said to us overnight. That was one common theme. Many of them had said that they can't really sleep comfortably because they just don't know when they would be attacked or mugged. In one case, a man was saying to me that he saw a brick being thrown onto another man who was sleeping nearby. And there's now this paranoia and this lack of trust for anyone that passes by. Dan, just while I was waiting to speak to you, a young lady had approached me, Samkelesiwe. You were saying to me that you are also homeless, but you're staying at a shelter. But in order to stay at that shelter, it means that you need to start your day early. Just tell me why that is. You need to raise money to stay at the shelter. How much is it, and how do you make that money?
The shelter we're paying 35 rand. I'm going to the beach and selling shower cap and swimming costumes. So it's how I raise the money to go and pay the shelter.
Before you got into the shelter, you said you were also living on the street. How did you find yourself here?
You see, ever since my grandmother passed away, my sister's mother, they were not treat me well. You see, because I'm not working. You see, so they tell me to go. So I end up to come here to stay here in Point. So I met a friend. My friend told me there is a place to sleep called the shelter. It's cheap. We're paying 35 rand. So.
You were saying to me just now that before you got into the shelter, you also were robbed on the streets.
Yes, I was robbed before.
What was taken from you?
Oh, my phone and my stuff. That's what the one that I'm selling.
Thank you very much. I'll let you get on your way. Thanks for chatting to us. Dan, that's one of the ladies that's staying at a shelter here on Mahatma Gandhi Road. And you'll hear there that she herself has also been robbed. Now, one of the reasons for the distress that the homeless community in Durban is feeling is because they say that they are not receiving the support that they expect from the municipality. That is something that's also reiterated by some of the NGOs that exist here. There was a homelessness task team that was formed in 2018, and that was an initiative by the eThekwini municipality. So they had gotten together a few members of NGOs to do some research into this topic to find solutions on how best the city can deal with this matter. I spoke to the chairperson of that task team, Raymond Perrier. He's with the Denis Hurly Centre, and he said to me that after more than 9 months of speaking to the city, it still seems like there's a lack of action. Let's just have a listen to what he had to say on this issue.
There's no plan in eThekwini in Durban to deal with homelessness. There is no national plan about homelessness either. So part of the excuse that municipalities can use is that there's no national plan, there's no municipal mandate, so why should they? Interestingly, though, both Cape Town and Joburg and Pretoria have all understood that homelessness is a major issue in their cities and that the municipalities owe it to their citizens to do something about it. But in eThekwini, they hope that the problem will go away, they hope that somebody else will solve the problem, and fundamentally they don't regard homeless people as citizens who need services and who need support. They treat them as litter to be cleared off the streets.
Well, no plan really, he says there, to deal with the homeless situation in Durban. Meanwhile, the problems continue, as we've just witnessed there with that young lady, Samkela, you were speaking to there, who stays in a nearby shelter where they ask for 35 rand a day.
That's right, and in fact, that's how the days of most of the homeless community goes, really. They get up early in the morning before the traffic really picks up and before the passers-by walk along these pavements. They have to gather their stuff and get out to try to make that money, to get into a shelter. And that's only if they're fortunate enough to do so. You heard there that she's paying 35 rand, other shelters charge 40 rand, and some days they just simply can't make that money and they end up on the street. Now, the municipality has said that it's found a building where it would be setting up a shelter, but unfortunately that's all it is. It's just a structure. What the municipality wants is an NPO to actually run that centre, and that is where it's now stopped. So that's a process that still needs to take place. Until that happens, it means that there are some people who are just going to remain on the streets and others who are going to struggle every day to try to get into these shelters.
Thank you very much. That's in touch there at Mahatma Gandhi Road, where about more than an hour ago a man was attacked there, and he tried to get the paramedics onto the scene quickly, but sadly he's passed away. It's a crime scene now, as you saw. It's been demarcated as such. Police present there as they start their investigation.